to Anime Apocalypse, where a major weeb tries to turn his two friends into weebs like himself. This show will contain spoilers, incorrect information, and adult language. Our hosts are not experts on any topic, and things they say will be opinions and should not be perceived as fact. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello, and welcome to Anime Apocalypse, the show where I try to turn my two friends into weebs like myself.
Anime Apocalypse, where AA doesn't stand for Alcoholic Anonymous, it stands for Anime Addiction.
I'm Lane.
I'm Nathaniel.
And I'm Aaron. So it should be. Wait, shit. Also, I thought we were anime apocalypse, not anime addiction.
Yeah, it's a joke, Aaron. It's a joke.
Oh,
dude, that's perfect. That's perfect intro. All right.
I don't know how do you said I'm Lane technically, and that he said I'm Nate. Wait, we were introducing ourselves there.
We're done. We're done with that. Okay.
Wait, I thought we were talking about our repertoire. Wait, start shows when we talk about our repertoires or what?
Aaron, you were too funny, man. You were too.
Oh yeah, I
First
heard anime
episode.
addiction, bro.
First episode, and we already have to kick Aaron off the podcast.
Yeah.
He lasted one episode.
Aaron's gone. This is Anime Apocalypse. It's a review podcast where I try to turn my two friends into major weebs like myself. But yes, Aaron,
Not gonna happen.
Aaron, Nathaniel, let's hear from you guys. I wanna know your guys' past experience with anime, what you like, what you dislike, because I'm going to make you guys watch a lot of different animes, a lot of different genres. We're gonna talk about a lot of different animes. So I want to hear what you guys have seen, what you like, what you dislike, what grinds your gears about anime.
All right, Aaron, I'm gonna let you go first because you had such a wonderful time with the intro. I just am dying to hear what you'll do for this part.
All right, yeah, sounds good. So yeah, I actually am fairly new to anime. I think compared to these two here, definitely compared to Lane. Lane is he's got quite a variety of different animes. But I will say, I think out of everyone though, I probably have the most sussy list of animes I've watched. I started back
that's not even
in
a
college. Yeah, no, it's actually it's very bad. I started with not one of the best animes, but one of the ones that people talk about as watching for the plot, in quotes there. But no, I started with High School DxD and kind of moved from there. But in terms of anime, I am pretty open to everything. You guys kind of started me on Attack on Titan. I personally like it. It's one of those things where I kind of just have to feel like I want to watch it. Otherwise, yeah, I'm down to kind of watch anything. I've got no complaints in terms of any anime. As long as it's subbed, that's all that matters to me.
Man,
Fair point.
It does not surprise me that your first anime was High School DxD. Just knowing you, that I could have put that together. If I really thought long and hard about it, I could have put those two together. Nate, what about you?
Fair enough.
So my stuff is more like the, everyone's kind of seen it kind of stuff. My favorite one is Attack on Titan. I've seen a lot of My Hero Academia. I think I started off with the Pokemon anime years ago. I've seen a lot of Dragon Ball. I've seen a lot of the Ghibli movies. Like, I wouldn't call myself a weeb, personally. Like, I enjoy anime if it's like, I can get into it, but I'm not one of the kind that kind of goes out and just finds anime for the sake of watching anime. So that's where I'm at with it.
Me and you are two different people.
Yeah, for sure.
I can finish 4 or 5 animes in a week, depending on how long they are.
Yeah, you can finish 4 or 5. I'm still like halfway through JJK, and that came out like 2 years ago now, something like that.
There was a point in time in my life, I told you guys about this. I watched 128 episodes of anime and 4 anime movies in a week. That was a lot of anime in a week. But for me, I started watching anime during COVID, so back in 2020. And from there, it kind of just spiraled. I went down the whole watch, the Shonen Jump, the mainstream stuff like Hunter x Hunter, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, Haiku, just like some really big titles. And then I fell into the trap of what I consider to be the hardest genre of anime to get out of, and that's romance. So I have seen probably I've seen I think over 100 animes, and I would say 60 to 70% of them are romance, or rom-coms or rom-droms, whatever you want to call them. I have seen a lot of romance. So,
How do you live with yourself?
a lot of tears, a lot of depression, and that's how we do it. You watch romance anime to feel sad. If you don't have a girlfriend, man, that sucks. I feel bad. I'm lucky enough to be able to have a girlfriend, so I don't get as lonely watching these romance animes. But I can definitely understand from a different weeb perspective trying to watch these shows when you don't have a girlfriend. I bet there's a lot of people that get so lonely watching them.
Man, it's calling me out over here. Yeah, you straight up calling me out because I've seen some of those romance animes, and I do agree. Yeah, it's like, oh shit.
Some of them are very heart wrenching. They really make you. They're real tearjerkers. I've seen a couple animes that have made me cry. I've seen two animes that have made me cry my eyes out, like literal, like full, like blown tears coming out. I've had quite a few like make me like a little teary eyed, like some tears, wipe away the tears. I wasn't crying.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't crying. I was rubbing my eyes. But yeah. So we're a anime review podcast. We're gonna do some like other like special things here and there, but it's basically me pushing my anime recommendations onto these two, trying to widen their variety of anime, make them want to watch more anime, because these two aren't the biggest weebs, and I'm trying to turn them into the biggest weebs I can. I'm a pretty big weeb myself, so trying to convince both of them, if not one of them, to turn to the dark side would be the biggest goal for this podcast. So
it's not gonna happen.
We're gonna try to have a little bit of fun. We're gonna joke around, but yeah, we're gonna kind of jump right into this first episode. And boy, oh boy, do I have a great anime in my.
Is it a rom-com?
Oh, you'll find out.
If you say haiku, I'm disconnecting.
It's not haiku. Don't worry. I'm not gonna make you guys watch haiku in the first episode. Although this haiku slander, I can easily switch. I know enough about haiku where I can easily switch my notes right now.
Please, God, no.
I won't do it. But haiku is gonna be an episode to come. It's gonna happen.
God damn it.
I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to suffer. Well, not suffer. You're gonna have to enjoy a little bit of sports anime. But
Ace of the Diamond.
Man, I don't know if that's gonna happen. But I've been leading you guys on. I haven't really told you guys. We've been talking about doing this podcast for a while. We're finally sitting down and recording the first little part of this podcast. And I told you guys before I wasn't gonna tell you the animes we're gonna do in the week. I'm saving it for the night of that we're recording and watching, because I don't want you guys to go ahead and do some research, watch some episodes, right? I want you guys to experience it with me. I wanna know what you guys are feeling. I wanna know what you guys think. I wanna know everything you guys are thinking, you're seeing while we're watching it, right? So I'm not gonna tell you guys the title yet. I'm gonna go into the description first.
Quit making me wait.
Are you gonna make us guess the title based on the description, or has it?
No. I'm just gonna do the description, and then you guys can maybe guess. You guys have seen my tier list. You guys have seen it, but
hold on a second. Let me pull up that tier list real quick.
Yeah. Where's this at? I see this.
But the anime description right here. Due to years of social isolation, our main character here, he's social isolates himself. He has developed a habit of observing people and his surroundings from a distance, earning him a skill for social perception, figuring out the true nature of people. So this guy, he's kind of this quiet, like reads books, kind of just observes people. He's pretty good at understanding people's feelings, even though he doesn't really communicate with other people. He's kind of like an introvert, you could say. He's kind of like this loner. He doesn't really have a whole lot of friends. I think he has like one other friend at the beginning of the show, but I think that's it. But his teacher, Shizuki. Sorry, my Japanese, it's not good.
Suzuki?
Yeah, I think it's Shizuki. Yeah, she worries about him becoming a social outcast and forces him to join the service club. You guys will learn more about the service club when we watch. I think it's pretty early on that you figure out what the service club does. But he ends up meeting two of the other kind of like main characters. I don't have their names for you. But our main character's name is Hachiman Hikigaya. I'm telling you, my Japanese.
Ikigaya.
Yeah, Hikigaya. Japanese pronunciation. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna botch it. I do apologize. But Hachiman believes himself to be an insignificant entity and is willing to take the blame in order to keep everyone happy. So, yeah, he does not consider himself to be anything good. He's just a social outcast. He's literally just there trying to make sure other people are happy. He doesn't care how he feels himself. So, that's the description I have for you guys. I'm gonna give you what do you guys think from that? We got any guesses? What do you guys think it's gonna be interesting? Let me hear it.
I have no fucking clue what this is gonna be. I had so many guesses and
And
I can't think of a single one. You said like he's a loner, and I'm like, well, that's 90% of all anime.
Yeah. Anime protagonists, bro. They're either a loner or they don't have one or both of their parents.
Yeah, exactly. or both at the same time.
Every anime protagonist ever.
Yeah, no, I have no clue.
No
clue? I'm guessing it's more of a slice of life, probably.
Slice of life?
But
all right. Aaron,
I have no idea.
Aaron, what do you
I
got?
mean, based on the description, I felt like there were a lot of animes that literally fit that description of joining a club in a school. There's so many school club like shows out there already, or animes out there already. And I can't think of which one it could honestly be. And I was really debating on actually Googling that person's name. I didn't enter. I didn't hit enter.
Good,
I didn't hit enter.
good,
I stopped
good,
myself. But
Good.
but I
Don't
was like,
cheat.
I was like, I don't know. But I do agree with Nathaniel here in saying that this seems like a slice of life. I feel like there's gonna be a little bit of romance involved. I have a feeling like somehow he's gonna get attached to
Okay.
one of the characters in this anime.
The
but
teacher.
I still have no idea. I was thinking it was domestic girlfriend. I actually thought it was domestic girlfriend there for a second, but I was like,
It is not.
there's no shot you having us watch that initially. But
It is
yeah,
not.
I don't know what it is honestly.
I will tell you that you guys can start looking, but it is on my S tier in my tier list, and there's not very many of them in there.
SNAFU?
It is SNAFU. It is.
Oh!
It is.
I almost guessed that, and then I was like, no shot.
The name for it is Origaru, or in English, the kind of what everybody knows it as is My Teen Romantic Comedy, or SNAFU is another really popular. That's kind of what a lot of people call it, is just SNAFU. So that's what we're gonna be watching. Now on Mal, it does have a pretty solid rating with 1.2 million reviews. It is sitting at an 8.02. So it is.
What place is it?
It's ranked 547, but
Wow,
with
shit.
with an 8.02 score, you can expect that it's probably not terrible. I have it on my S tier. I have it over Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer. So,
Cringe.
now take it as you will, but I really enjoyed the show. It's been a really long time since I have watched this, so I'm really looking forward to watching this with you guys and hearing what you guys think. But yeah, well, what do you got? We got any little final thoughts before we go into watching this?
I will say I'm not at all surprised that the very first one we're watching is a rom-com.
A rom-com? Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't know if you were gonna do that for the first one. I mean, I'm glad you didn't just dive us into the deep end with it, but
the deep end.
but you're just kind of like waiting
Oh,
us in at the beginning.
He's making us watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure first episode.
I'm
I don't know if I
I'm
do
gonna
even
be
do
honest,
that, bro.
Unless we get so many reviews and people asking for JoJo's, it's gonna be tough to get me to try to do JoJo's.
All right,
Yeah, I
guys,
don't even like
please.
JoJo's.
Anyone?
It's gonna be really tough to get me to watch JoJo's. You guys don't know this. Nate knows this. JoJo's is probably my least favorite anime out of everything that I've seen, and I've seen some pretty scuffed anime.
All right, everyone, please comment on this episode and say, please watch JoJo, because it's Elaine's least favorite. It is my second favorite anime. So please, I really want him to watch it.
Oh, man, I really don't want to suffer through more JoJo's. So please do not make me do that. If you guys make me do that, I'm going to make Nate suffer through some anime
Haiku.
that he might not like.
Oh no.
But with that, guys, we're gonna jump in. We're gonna watch 5 episodes of Origaru, or My Teen Romantic Comedy SNAFU.
This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. From here on out, there will be massive spoilers, adult topics, hot takes, and far too many fan service complaints. Remember to buckle up and enjoy the ride.
We are back after consuming 5 episodes of My Teen Romantic Comedy, or otherwise known as SNAFU. But yes, we watched 5 episodes. So now, Nate, Aaron, I want to hear from you guys. What did you? I've already seen it, so I want to know what you guys were thinking.
So, as Lane just said, we watched 5 episodes, and if you ask me, that was 5 too many.
Oh,
Nate,
all right.
no, Nate, it's
All right then.
no way, Nate. Really? You didn't like it?
I will preface all my future statements for the rest of the episode as rom-coms just aren't my cup of tea. Like, I totally understand why people like them. I just am not the biggest fan.
I'm gonna change that. I am going to change that in this podcast. I will get you to say that you like at least one romance anime, one rom-com. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
That's
You
gonna
can
be a tough
try.
one.
So I'll kind of do a breakdown of the first episode. It's kind of just, he is a loner. He likes being alone. He hates human interaction, it seems, which, mood. But he is good at kind of assessing a situation, seeing, what's going on. He's good at reading the room, reading people. But he himself just does not like talking to people. And then, so his teacher puts him into a club called the Service Club, where it's basically their job is just to help people that come to them. So people will come to them with requests to help them with whatever it might be, and then they have to help them. So he meets the first character. I can't remember her name. She's the one with the black hair.
Yukino.
Yeah,
I believe it's
Yukino, thank you. And she is just an edgelord. He's also an edgelord. So not the best at conversing with each other. And then a third character named Yui shows up. She's a lot more bright, bubbly, typical female anime protagonist. And that's kind of beginning. The 3 of them all being in the club together. I guess Yui isn't in the club until 2 episodes later or something like that. But see, that's the first episode basically. It fell into a lot of anime tropes. I felt that at the very beginning, I think it was the first 3 minutes were all one single monologue for the protagonist, which I've heard in a lot of anime. There were I will say that I did laugh a couple times. There were a lot of times I was kind of on here.
Yeah,
kind of
I caught
odd.
you. I caught you chuckling a couple times.
Yeah. I really started laughing in around episode 3, I think, but there was one part in particular that I remember from the first episode that he just randomly growled at do you say Yukino was the name of the
Yukino.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He just growled at her and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, after he ended up meeting her and he was in the service club, I think he she said something hostile to him and then he just growled. Yeah. It was a little weird.
It wasn't a weird. It wasn't.
For sure.
It wasn't a normal it was more of a.
Yeah, it was like a platypus. Perry the platypus.
Yeah.
It was like a platypus growl, like good old Perry the platypus from Phineas and Ferb. It literally sounds like that. I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, it was weird. I did kind of. I mean, once again, it's kind of falling into the trope, but I did find it funny how many times they kind of pointed out that the situation was very much like something that you would see in a rom-com.
Yeah, it was very self-aware. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there was one scene, I think it was in the third episode, so I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit, but he said something like, this would never happen to me if I was in a rom-com, and then the scene changes, and then something else happens. He's like, yeah, I'm definitely living in a rom-com. And so, like, that was kind of enjoyable a few times. There were other times that they did that, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it, because it kind of gets to a point where it's like, okay, you broke the fourth wall multiple times. It's getting kind of old.
Yeah, I do agree there. Honestly, that is true. I think the first time, in my opinion, I think I enjoyed the first time. I was like, haha, yay, self-aware, fourth wall break. But yeah, I do agree though. Like as it went on, it's like okay,
Yeah,
it's getting a little bit too much.
yeah, exactly. But I did think the first episode was kind of good at showing you kind of who the characters are, what they're like. Because like I wrote down in my notes that he has no game and he's kind of horny, which is very true. There was a flashback at the first episode where it's like him asking a girl out that he liked in middle school, I think it was, and he said it in the worst possible way to ever ask someone out. I just wrote down no game at all.
All right.
And then the girl with the black hair, she's suffering from success, it feels. And then so that's kind of my breakdown of the first episode. I'll let Aaron talk about it.
I do agree that this was a very good first. Like, this is a good baseline for the series. I guess the actual full-on anime. Good to like kind of get you introduced into these characters. And I don't know about you guys. I personally am not a big fan of an anime that like will introduce like 20 or 30 characters and they'll end up doing it like too much. Like, I want a few characters, maybe some side characters to further develop the character's actual storyline, which with this anime they did that very well with a couple of these characters, more towards like season 2 or episode 2 and 3, like kind of just showing more of his past, or Hikigaya's past there, and they really fleshed out these characters quite a lot in the beginning. I really thought that Hikigaya and Yukino were polar opposites, and the fact, they're very similar in that they're very cold towards a lot of people, but they're very polar opposites in that he's against everyone. He wants nothing to do with them, but she still wants to help people for the better, and she still wants to actually get people further. And this being a rom-com, I don't know about you guys, especially you, Nate. I instantly tried picking out where the romance was, or like where the love interest was. And in this episode, I actually straight up thought that Yukino and he actually are gonna be love interest. Of course, that my whole opinion on that kind of flip-flops through these 5 episodes that we ended up watching here. In episode 2, actually, I didn't really see a lot of the love interest, but I guess in terms of the breakdown of that episode, I titled it "Cold Manga Man" because literally this episode was so different in that they introduce a character. I don't fully remember what his name was. Honestly, I don't know if they actually fully gave his name. I think they did. I honestly, episode 2 is a little more forgettable for me, just because very cliche with this guy that just happens to be full on into anime, and like he's like not really breaking the wall, but he's being what I would expect Lane to be actually. Guys. Full on into anime.
I'm not that weird. I'm not gonna.
All right.
I'm not gonna walk around in a public setting and start doing some like Naruto signs at somebody. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Except I can definitely see you doing that.
I wouldn't do that. Now, like trying to push my anime opinions or anime shows like suggestions and stuff on people. Oh yeah, I would do that. Yeah. I do that all the time. You guys have heard me at work and just in normal conversations. I'm gonna try to get you guys to watch animes that I like. But me walking around acting like this guy and like just like full on just doing like some anime poses and like signs and stuff, that I would never do that. I would never do that.
Except here's the thing. I think if you found anime in like elementary school and you watch Dragon Ball, I can definitely see you being the kid on the playground trying to do a Kamehameha.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
sure.
If it was me back in elementary school, me watching Dragon Ball or something, 100%, I was probably on the playground, freaking
You're just
doing
screaming
something.
Rasen gun at some random
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
Yeah, see, I can see you
In
doing
that
that.
in
is the
that
thing.
aspect,
Yeah.
yes, but now, no, absolutely not. I would never do that.
I can see you walk.
Yeah.
I can see you walking somewhere on campus and just screaming some random ass anime thing. Well, can't you like? What the fuck?
All right, Nate.
Yeah,
Next,
Because
you can't tell me you wouldn't
hey,
do that,
hey,
especially
oh,
like the
you,
end of that episode though. That was
no.
there
weird.
was one time on campus that you were like, "Who wants to play the penis game?"
What
And
the
Oh,
I was
hell?
like, "What?" And you
oh
just
God.
randomly, very loudly, just screamed, "Yes!"
Okay.
Well, like everyone's windows were open.
It's like shit. But yeah, no. I this episode though, back. I guess back on track here. This episode, I don't know about you. I think Elaine might be able to actually agree with this. I think one of my favorite characters is by far Yui, and this episode really did flesh her out more. In terms of like how she is as a person. I mean, she's very not. I wouldn't say gullible. I don't know if that's. I don't know if you could interject if that's if like that you actually think that's how she is. But she tries to impress people way too much, and she tries to be that one person that just full on. If her opinion doesn't line up with someone else's, she'll make it line up with someone else's. Like she had. There was a point in the episode when. So there's a character, I don't remember what the hell her name is because I don't like her, but I literally called her that. I have it in quotes, that bitch, in Huey. She straight up like says something in her own opinion. She gives out an opinion to her, and she says something that interjects the opinion, and Yui just completely backtracks her own opinion and her own statement to fit that the narrative of that woman. And I think overall it's weird, but I do like that episode solely because it does flesh out Yui more as a character. Even though the episode really isn't about her, it's more about the anime man, like wanting approval from people and wanting almost misogynistically people to criticize his novel so he can actually better himself and everything. I did think that was interesting, just because I'm assuming there's a lot of people out there that kind of go through that, that's
Pause real
wanting
quick.
approval or yeah. What's up?
I think you said misogynistically. I think you mean masochistically.
Oh yeah, masochistic. Yes, you're right. Yeah, masochistically. Yeah, like wanting to be. Yeah, no, yeah, no, wait, yeah, no, not
I was about to say,
I was like, wait a minute,
he's
wait a
not
minute,
really
man.
no,
being sexist here.
no, I used the wrong word there. Yeah, you caught me, but yeah, but yeah, he's very masochistically like, because especially when how Yukino is degrading his novel,
Oh
he
yeah.
like kept just getting on the ground and in pain, and at one point he rolled around and hit himself into the wall, which was a little different. But I think all in all, I'm hoping I'm hoping in, later on we get to see a little bit more from that character for sure though. But what did you think of that episode though, Nate?
I definitely liked it more than the first episode. You already hit on some of my points, like the main one being that the manga man reminded me of Lane.
I can't believe you both had the same opinion, guys.
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't act like him. If you guys are listening to this and you guys decide to go watch this show and you watch episode 2 and you meet Mr. Manga Man or Anime Man, I am not like that guy. I am not. I don't know what these two. They're telling you some real BS lies here because I do not act like that.
He doesn't act like that outwardly. He definitely acts like that inwardly.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
But I definitely liked it more. I thought the comedy was better. It got a few chuckles out of me. I don't think I laughed at all the first episode. It definitely got a few more chuckles out of me. I thought it was cool kind of seeing them actually help someone, because in the first episode you didn't really see it all too much. So Aaron called the one character that bitch. I had it written down in my notes. The blonde bitch is annoying as fuck, because same thing as Aaron was saying. It's like Yui would say something. She was trying to keep up appearances, and this bitch was just like shutting her down every single time. It's like, you're not allowed to have your own opinion. Anything you say has to be like what I want. So I've seen people like that in real life, and it always pisses me off when I see it. So annoyed me here too.
Mm-hmm.
I just think all in all was just a better episode. I think also, I'm guessing it's going to come up later again, but we saw that the main character, Hikigaya, I believe was his name.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or Hachiman. You could say.
Yeah.
We kind of saw him like that we saw that he was kind of like a fantasy nerd at one point. He used to like cosplay and go do like cons and whatnot, but he's kind of shoved that part of his life away. So I'm wondering if later on in the series we kind of revisit that and see that he was a lot more personable, a lot more like out there. Like he was a nerd, and then like people just kept making fun of him and kept making fun of him. So he kind of repressed all that stuff and just shut down. Didn't allow himself to like stuff that he thought was nerdy anymore, and make it more so that he kind of just fit the social norm. Like he likes what everyone else likes. He does what everyone else does instead of being his own person and liking what he actually likes. But yeah, I think just overall, second episode much better than the first episode. So I'll
Yeah, I
move
do
on
agree
to
on that one.
third episode now. In that one, they meet a character that's in their class called Sai, and he needs help getting better at tennis. So they kind of just go out, help him with like serving, help him with returning the ball, because he sees Hachiman uh, during like tennis practice, and he's not practicing with anyone, but he sees him just hitting it against the wall, and he's like, that guy's form is actually really good. So he goes, grabs him, they help him with that. It ends up being a like contest between the nerds, which is the service club in Sai, versus the popular kids, because the popular kids want to take over the tennis court during lunch break, so they have to play them. The nerds end up winning because, frick, what is the black-haired girl's name?
Yeah, Yukino.
Yukino. It's like a badass at tennis. Apparently, she's like goated. So she helps them win, but she doesn't have good stamina. So Hachiman has to be the one that like gets the last 2 points. I think it was. I liked it pretty good. This was the first one that there was a couple points that I audibly like laughed, and there was one point in particular where it's like someone accidentally hit a tennis ball wrong and it bounced up in Hachiman's face, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah,
But
I agree on that
there's
one.
not a whole lot I can say about it except there was some interesting parts. I'll say that. Sai looks like a girl, but he's actually a guy. So they make a lot of jokes that kind of indicate that Sai swings the other way. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's
but
different.
it was a little bit weird the way they did that. Like, once again, kind of falling into that anime trope. Like, one of my favorite animes is Assassination Classroom, and one of them, or the main character in that show, Nagisa, is a guy, but like everyone makes fun of him all the way through the show and like treats him like he's a girl because he looks like a girl. And it's just one of those weird anime tropes I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's there and you kind of have to deal with it because they use it a lot.
Once you
But-
start noticing anime tropes, you just notice that there's so like every show is using at least every show is using at least a couple, and like some of them portray it pretty well, and then others they're just like out there and they're just like, was that really necessary? Like, you could have picked anything else that's more interesting or has more depth or literally anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
And-
feels forced sometimes.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I feel like Nagisa and Assassination Classroom did do it better.
Yeah.
And then this character as well. There was also another thing that I noticed, like as of this third episode, is like in every single episode, his teacher like assaults him, the main character. She just punches him.
There
Because, like-
is a lot more of that in this show, I will tell you.
Yeah, and it's like the first few times I was like, haha, that's funny, student violence, haha. Like the third episode on, I was like, okay, they're doing this bit every single episode and it's getting really old. But
Yeah, I agree with that.
I
don't
will say, like,
know
it
why
did
either.
make me laugh more, but I think third episode was probably the most forgettable for me. Just because, like, you came off of the great episode that was episode 2
Mhm.
with the manga guy who was just hilarious. And in this episode, there was just a lot of weird parts of this episode. Because I think this was the one where I was talking about earlier about the rom-com bit where it's like, this doesn't happen in a rom-com. And then, like, he just opens up the service, or the service club's room door, and it's just the two female characters
Yeah.
getting dressed.
Yeah, I don't.
And it's like, what?
Yeah, I don't know
Excuse
why
me?
that was super necessary. I will agree with you there. I think that's one thing anime is that I find the most annoying. I think is just I don't know why they
Oh,
have to do that.
and this
Like
show
why?
is bad with it. It's like, you know how many times there's just a thigh shot
Mhm.
where it's like we're just looking at one of the girl's thighs as she walks through the room, and it's
Yeah,
like, I get it. Like, a lot of the people that watch anime are horny. I get it. But I don't know. I felt like it got a little bit distracting, I guess,
Mhm.
like how much they were doing. It's like there was a thigh shot, then there was like a shot of a girl's chest, and then back to a thigh shot, and it's like it's just getting kind of weird. But
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know.
too much of that, honestly. Like even in the intro song, there's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
10 eye shots in that damn intro song. It's not bad. It's a good song. Don't get me wrong, but the actual scene itself has so many thigh shots. And back to what you talked about though, Nathaniel, about that last scene though. I literally have in my notes dot what, like I was like I yes, we've seen some of these like very more fan servicey type things, but like I wasn't expecting that. That was like weird. But yeah, Sai is weird though. By the way, he's different. It's hard to get used to. This episode, I again also agree with you on the fact that this was one of the more forgettable episodes. I feel like they just kind of ran this episode through. It's like it was like very fast paced, forced, and Sai is definitely one of those characters that unless like Elaine, you can confirm that Sai has like a bigger part later on in this show. It just feels like they forced that trope on us there, and it just feels unnecessary, like really unnecessary. But
you
I do
will
like how, yeah. Hmm?
you will see Sai involved in like some more scenarios later on. Kind of like if you guys have noticed, like the episodes kind of focus on like a specific task that the service club is
Hmm.
doing. They do continue to do that throughout the show, which, in my opinion, I think this is what the show does best, is doing those scenarios. Like some of the scenarios are like really really good,
Hmm.
especially when you get later on in the show. This show really knows what's working for them, and they do it and they execute it well.
Hmm.
For good reason. It is high up on my tier list. It is one of my favorites because of that reason, and also the characters aren't bland. They grow, and yeah, they seem like actual real people, which with me loving slice of life and like romance animes, I like action animes, like to watch it, like the animation is really really cool. But I really like seeing the people be people and not
Hmm.
like for example just like One Punch Man or like Dragon Ball or something, like where like they spend 10 minutes of an episode like charging up a power or something. Like that doesn't interest me as much as seeing relationships and people just grow as people. I think that is way more beneficial for me. I think that's what I enjoy in anime, but there are unfortunately a lot of animes that don't do that very well. They try to, but they don't.
Hmm.
Um, but yes, Sai and like some of the other characters that you guys have met, they do play a little bit of a bigger part later on, and you will see that if you continue to watch.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case, just because yeah, as of right now, like I said, Sai just feels forced. But
Yeah.
I definitely will. I
I
will
don't
agree. Three
disagree.
was not my favorite. Like I will. Yeah, episode three was not my favorite. But episode four, on the other hand, that one wasn't half bad. Actually, I was kind of a fan of it. Of course, you guys had to kind of clarify something for me towards the end of that episode that I kind of missed. There was like kind of the whole point of the episode, but overall, what episode four is solely about is one of the popular kids actually comes to the service club for help in terms of helping deal with like possible, not really, I wouldn't say bullying, but like online targeting towards against
It's
the
not really
popular kids and
it's not
everyone else,
really
or not really.
doxing. I can't remember the term for it.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual term is, but yeah, they full on kind of just someone. I mean, I know of this kind of thing personally because I know my high school actually kind of dealt with something like that. It was one of those scenarios where you make it a fake account and and then kind of post untruthful things to the account just to kind of defame or like a
I feel
form of
like
defamation, I
I
guess.
feel like every high school had that. I feel like if your high school didn't have that, like or middle
Hmm.
school, like were you really going to a high school or middle school? Like
Yeah, exactly.
everybody had to deal with that, whether you were on the sending or receiving end of it. You had to deal with it, unless you're Nate's case and you're
Oh,
homeschooled.
I didn't
You're
have to deal
homeschooled.
with it.
Yeah, you're a
You just-
homeschooled. You're an outcast compared to everybody else.
I mean, if you had to deal with it, there's a problem. It just means one of your family members is not happy with you. You need to figure something else out there.
Yeah, the
just
only
wake up.
only thing Nate had to deal with was him doing his homework and then his mom or dad yelling at him because he couldn't add 2 + 2 or something.
Wow, calling out that I'm bad at math as well.
Wow.
I feel real targeted right now.
Damn.
Hey,
damn. But
it's got to happen. It's got to happen.
yeah. And speaking of 2 + 2, episode 4. I
That
don't know
was
about
a
you.
good transition.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know about you, Nate. I think you said episode 2 was your favorite, no?
Yeah, I think episode 2 is my favorite.
I still think, even though episode 4 was kind of a blur to me, I think it was more so just because I was a little tired during that one. But I personally like it. And another not so good transition, they actually introduce more about Hikigaya in the fact that he has a sister. And unfortunately, the scenes that they did introduce that he has a sister, I did make a note. Finds out has sister, ... and some Wally fan service, because for some reason they decided, let's have this naked girl, or half-naked girl, I guess, in front of the camera. Like, I don't understand the necessity for that.
I just
it was
wrote down weird sibling shit.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like,
Yep.
it's very stereotypical for a lot of animes to have some weird relationship between
Yep.
possibly cousins or siblings or step siblings. Is weird.
The brother sister love trope is like the most overused trope, and it
really is.
It is terrible. It is so bad.
Weird. I hate it so much.
Okay,
Yeah,
we can all agree on this. We can all agree on this.
I'm not a fan. Definitely not a fan. But
Yeah,
I guess I think this was also the episode they fully fleshed out. Like I said previously, I guess in episode 3, they talked about the accident a little bit more that he had to go through. But this one, they really actually went in and talked about the full-on accident of like how he tried saving this dog, got into from getting hit by a car, but he ends up being the one hit by a car and has to be in the hospital, and that kind of ruins his chances in high school. And that he's blaming his loneliness on that. I don't know if that's entirely the case. He technically could have came back from that without being lonely, but I think that's just my opinion on that one. But it was interesting.
You do find out more later on about the specific accident and what happened with it. Mainly, the other big component was the person driving the car that hit them.
Was it Yukino?
It was not Yukino. Unfortunately, she can't drive. But that will be at a later date if we ever revisit it, if we ever get requests to revisit it, or if you guys watch it or whatever happens with it. You'll have to find out yourself, because I'm not going to spoil it. You're either gonna have to watch it, or we'll revisit it sometime.
Yeah, but I think I don't know what made me think this. I think it had to do with, I'm not entirely sure, but no, never mind. Okay, now I'm back on track. So I think this was also the episode that he was like kind of missing for a little bit there, and he shows up late to the service club, and Huey's like upset that he's gone. And I think there, I definitely was like, yeah, Yui's got a thing for him for sure. But I think the one takeaway at the very end that I was very torn about. Again, earlier I talked about how I'm not a big fan of an anime introducing a lot of characters. I feel like it just becomes too tedious and too much to go on. They do introduce, of course, a new character at the end. They don't tell us who she is at all. They just kind of show us a sneak peek of this new character looking at her phone, and I was like, okay, hopefully this kind of brings up a little bit more in the next episode, which of course I believe it did, but nonetheless, episode 4 was definitely my favorite. What did you honestly think of this episode, Nate?
I wasn't the biggest fan of this episode, if I'm being real. It started off bad with the sibling stuff. Like, he called her cute at one point. I was like, what the fuck? More student violence happened.
Mm-hmm.
The good old teacher punching him. I thought the phone number scene was kind of cute, where like she was like, give me your phone number so I don't have to like ask around, so people don't think I'm like your girlfriend or something, because that's weird, even though she's literally asking him for his phone number so that, she can talk to him more. But I thought that was pretty cute. There was a very clear JoJo reference in this episode that I pointed out to Lane, and I have a feeling he wasn't too
Don't-
happy about it.
If I ever hear JoJo's, it's an instant turn off for me. All right,
Yeah, but how many anime have a reference?
Nate, you know my opinion on JoJo's, and
Because you've only watched it for 10
I
episodes.
really, really hope that we never, ever, ever get a request to do JoJo's, because if we
We
don't ever have to do JoJo's,
will.
we are never gonna do JoJo's. So
Because you know what?
hopefully,
That one guy, the one guy listening to this is gonna say, "Please watch JoJo's."
it better not, because I do not want to go back and revisit watching that. I watched enough
You
of
don't have
it.
to watch the
I'm
first
done
8
watching.
episodes. We'll watch part 2. It's way better.
But see, if I have to skip the first 13 episodes of an anime just to get to the part that gets okay, then what was the point of having the first 7 to 13 episodes anyway?
This is the man that I think was JJK. I was like complaining about how the first 2 episodes were really boring, and you were literally like, once you get past like episode 4, it gets a lot better.
Okay, but episode 4, not
I know.
7 or 13. That's
Part
half
one,
a
I
season.
told you to just skip part 1.
But you
When
can't
you first started
skip
watching it.
part 1. It is
You don't need it. You don't need it to
You're right.
go
you,
back
you,
and watch it afterwards.
You don't need it. The best thing that ever
Anyway.
happened in part 1 was Dio dying. All right, or whatever his
You
name
mean
is.
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, back on track with SNAFU. Please, if you're listening to this, suggest JoJo so I can make them watch it.
I don't want to.
Anyway, back to SNAFU. There was a very clear JoJo reference, which I was really happy about. There was one part that I found really weird where Yui was talking to like a group of, or it was 2 like popular girls about what's going on with this friend group. Like, who do you think is spreading these evil messages about them? And like this girl got all like excited about the fact that these other guys could be gay for Hayato, and like she got a nosebleed and everything, which like an anime tropey. Like, she's getting like really interested or like sexually excited, and I found that part really fucking weird, because like, why are you like getting all excited about these 3 guys possibly being gay in your own fantasy? But I
feel like it was very unnecessary. Unless you can tell me, Lane, that that woman in particular, that's very different, gets a little bit more fleshed out as the series goes on. Because otherwise, I feel like that was very unnecessary if that's just a filler.
I think she gets fleshed out more. I think she ends up dating one of the 3 guys that she was talking about. I could be mistaken, though. It might be another one. Could be mistaken.
Gotcha.
But yes.
Yeah, no, I just found that really weird.
A lot of the
I think-
characters that you will see later on are the ones that you have already been introduced to. So you have the main character Hachiman, and then you have the other 2 like main characters, Yukino and Yuri, or Yui. And then you have like the side characters with Saito, Sai. Sai. Then you have like the siblings. The most recent chick, Kawasaki, both her and her little brother get fleshed out more, and then you have the blonde bitch, as you guys call her. She gets fleshed out more, and then also the popular guy and his 3 friends also get more screen time, and you get to learn a little bit more depth about them. For those are kind of the characters of interest, besides, I mean, the manga guy as well. But those are going to be kind of your characters of interest for the entire show. So
Gotcha. And then the only other thing I have for the 4th episode is Aaron touched on it a little bit. The ending part with the girl. I wonder if they went on like a short break after episode 4, especially with how episode 5's a lot like more impactful than the first 4 episodes with a lot of what they do in the 5th episode. I wonder if they possibly went on like a little bit of a break and they were kind of teasing this character for when they came back from break. But just watching them back to back, I found the ending of episode 4 with that teaser about this character showing up in the next episode really odd.
yeah, it was really abrupt.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. Like, I understand teasing a character, and especially if they did go into a break, like of like 2-3 weeks, whatever it was, or even longer. That makes sense teasing this new character, especially for the manga readers. But just as watching it back to back, I found that really odd. So I'll kind of jump into episode 5 now. This one was kind of about the little sister of Hachiman. Her friend at school ended up being the little brother of that girl that was teased at the end of the
Kawasaki.
previous episode. Yeah, Kawasaki. He's a little brother, and he goes to his service club and is like, "Hey, my sister's been acting really weird recently. She's not getting home until like 5 a.m. I would like you guys to kind of figure out what's going on with her because you're in the same class as her." So the episode is them kind of trying to learn, but she just shuts them down left and right, like not telling them anything. And then the little brother once again tells them, it's like, "Hey, we got a call today at the house from a place that was called Angel something that was looking for her." So based on where I know like the prefecture that she works in and it being called Angel something, there's only 2 possible, and I instantly thought it was going to be something in the red light district, which that's kind of the first place they go is like a maid cafe. And it was, I know maid cafes are supposed to be very fan servicey even in real life, but that part of the episode was just straight fan service. Like for whatever reason,
Yeah, I don't know why they had to dress
Yeah.
Yui and Yukino up in the outfits. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do
and, like,
agree that is a little weird.
I found that really strange. And then like the manga guy was like fantasizing about Sai, the one that's actually a guy,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was weird.
as being
I think
dressed
that
as
was
a
weird.
maid. And like to be fair, like every single character like mistakes Sai for being a guy. But like I get that manga guy is probably not, he doesn't know that he's a guy yet, but I found that part really weird, having the knowledge. But that scene, it was like probably like a 3-4 minute scene, and it was just straight fan service. And I did not like that at all. But then, so she doesn't work there. They look at like the employee list, or they ask the boss for the employee list, and they're like, "Well, she's not on here." And they called her at home, so clearly she's not using a fake name. So they went to the other place. This part, like, I'm guessing it's because of different cultures, but it kind of confused me. Just because, like, it's at a casino, and these characters are supposed to be in high school, I believe. They're supposed to be in, like, their junior year. Or, like, I know it's not called junior year in Japan. It's the equivalent of the American junior year.
Yeah, I think
And
they go first year, second year, third year, and then fourth year. I think they go first.
I think maybe it's only 3 years.
it
it's
might
either 3 or
be
4. I can't remember.
it might be 3.
Whatever the junior equivalent is. So it's like, I'm guessing they're probably like late 16, early 17 years old. And they just get into this casino. And like I said, I'm guessing it's just the difference between cultures. Like, I'm guessing Japanese kids, once they get to be like 16, 17, can probably go into casinos over there.
I'm not sure. I did Google it though. Gambling age over there is 20. But that is gambling. I know here
Well, yeah, but they
technically
went to
you
a
can go into a
bar.
casino. Yeah, they also went to a bar, which is interesting because I think
What's
the
the age?
drinking age is
16. I think it's 16, isn't it?
yeah. I'm googling right now.
Maybe it's
20.
20.
Yeah, the legal drinking age is 20.
I think I don't think they did a very well or a very good job explaining it, but I think the reason why they dressed up was to dress up like to look
okay.
To fake it, yeah.
to look the age.
I mean,
yeah.
they still look really young though.
Yeah. But I think they just didn't explain it well enough. But I think the reason why they like switched outfits to it was to kind of like portray that they're older.
Okay.
And that's why.
And then why they were served is because she didn't card them.
Oh well,
Yeah.
they just
I
got
don't know.
like water, like sparkling water or something like that. They weren't like actually
Yeah,
like
okay.
drinking. Yeah.
Gotcha. But I found that part a little bit confusing. But since you explained that, where it's like they probably dressed up to look older, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But even then, I would assume they would have gotten carded at like the door. But I don't know if Japan does that once
Yeah,
again. Like,
it's
I
different.
don't know a whole lot about Japan's culture, so maybe they don't. That's why we warn you at the beginning that this is false information in this podcast. And
That-
then, there was one part that really made me laugh close to the end of the episode, because basically they find out she's working at this bar in the casino. That's why she's getting home at 5 a.m. So then he's like, come and meet me at this place. It's just going to be me. She gets there. It's him, the other 2 members, or the other 3 members of the service club, because now Sai is a member.
Sai
And then
is
his little
Sai is
sister.
not a member. Sai never joins.
Oh, okay.
He's just
He
there
just
to
hangs
help
out with
out. Yeah, he's just there to help out
Okay.
that one particular time, and then later on you'll see him help out as well.
Okay, gotcha. So he's not a part, but he's helping. So he's there, and then Hachimon's little sister is there, and then Kawasaki's little brother is there. And they all kind of confront her, and they're like, why are you doing this? She explains that it's like she's wanting to take summer classes, and she needs more money to be able to do that. The part that made me laugh, though, is they met at Whacknardo's, I think was what it was called, instead of McDonald's. And like it was just like the McDonald's M, but it was just a W. It was just turned upside down. So
Yeah.
I found that part really funny.
A lot of you'll notice it once you start watching a lot more animes, but a lot of animes will like they won't use it because like copyright and everything, and they don't have like the licensing to put it in there. But you'll see a lot of them do like McDonald's or something close to like a McDonald's, and then also like a similar to like Starbucks. Those are like the most 2 popular ones. They're just they use like a little bit of different phrasing to put it in there.
Gotcha. Because I know my sister did spend like a semester in Japan at one point during her college career. And she told me that like McDonald's is like a big thing over there apparently. Like they have a lot of stuff that we don't.
Well, yeah,
Like,
it's
apparently
international menu and stuff. It changes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently they have like a like an ink, like a squid ink burger
Huh.
that you can get where it's like the bun is just like soaked in squid ink, so the bun is just black.
Interesting.
Um,
You learn something new every day.
because apparently,
Yeah.
like from what I understand, squid ink is like a delicacy over there. So I've seen like squid ink noodles, squid ink burgers. I've seen all sorts of stuff. It's
Interesting.
I'd like to try it at some point, but I've heard that's like extremely salty. Anyway, so then the end of the moment is they go on like this what is it called? They kind of go and look at a place of work. I think they went to a hospital, is what I understood that they were at.
I
They
think
kind of
I think it was an electric company. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think
That
so.
that works
I
too.
could be
It's-
mistaken, but I think it was an electric company.
Gotcha. But yeah, so they went there to kind of just look at a job. It was kind of that part of high school where they kind of send you out, look at a
It's
bunch of different
like job shadowing.
places
It's what
that
it
you
is.
can work so that you can kind of decide what you want to do for your career. And then there was a really nice, poignant moment close to the end of the episode where Hachimon, he learns that Yui was the one that owned the dog that kind of ran out into the road that caused the accident. And he tells her it's like, you don't need to be nice just because I saved your dog. Just, start treating me like shit, because he thinks that everyone hates him, and that's why he's so cut off from the rest of the world, is because of that. And I thought it was a really nice moment where he's like talking to her. He's really kind of, laying his heart out on his sleeve. And then she gets very sad because like he thinks that's the only reason that she's being nice to him, even though through the other 4 episodes it's very clear that she kind of has a thing for him, and like he's so oblivious to it that he's saying this kind of stuff. So she starts crying and runs off after she waited for him to get out so she could go to lunch with him. So I thought that was a really nice moment. I think that was probably the best like emotional moment that we saw.
That's the one thing I love about romance animes and just like slice of life animes, is that like actual like human emotion. Like if somebody came up to you and was like, you can just like stop the act, like you don't need to be nice to me, like I don't care, and like when they truly think of you as a friend, and that's really just hurtful to hear. So the way they portray it is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with
I
that.
think it was definitely the best moment out of the 5 episodes we watched. Like, I think just from an entertainment aspect, I think episode 2 is my favorite, but I think from like a storytelling and emotional level, I think episode 5 was by far the best.
Okay.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I also really liked episode 5. Again, it wasn't entirely my favorite, but it was also really good just because, again, it just felt more serious. It wasn't like, I don't think they really pointed out that it was a rom-com too much in that one, and I don't think that, yes, of course, like, they did have a little bit of fan service by being like, oh, guess what, Maid Cafe. I get that those are popular in Japan, but I was like, I don't know why they have to be in almost every anime out there. But
It's the same as
yeah,
the beach episode. It's a requirement.
yeah, I guess so.
It's like
Yeah.
a lot of animes will also do like a Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah.
Like almost every slice of life romance anime will have at least one Valentine's Day episode where like giving chocolate out is like literally the entire episode.
Mhm. I've seen several animes that do that, but I'm assuming we're probably gonna end up getting that point at some point in this anime. I feel like that's a definite thing, but I think another thing that you talked about though, and the thing that you touched on, that I actually kind of thought was pretty funny was the whole McDonald's thing. I literally wrote in notes, "fake McDonald's." I didn't make it. It wasn't entirely clear until I did see the upside down McDonald's arches logo and seeing Hachiman's sister eating the French fries, but overall, it was a really good episode. I think this episode was what really had me torn in this whole love interest, love thing going on, because I was like, oh, it's Yukino, and then I'm like, no, it's Yui, and no, it's Yukino, and then this, and I'm like, I think it actually really is Yui, because I think, I still feel like deep down she has feelings for him. I think he's slowly kind of gonna start realizing that as he's like, oh, maybe she's just not putting on an act because that's what
So,
he thought. But at some
If
point,
you-
maybe, yeah.
if you want my theory about where it's going to go, I think initially he's going to realize that Yui does like him, and they're going to kind of become a thing, and then they're going to fall away from each other. And then just based on how much the show is putting, why can't I remember her name? The black-haired one.
Yukino. Yeah.
Yukino. Okay, that's what I was going to call her as well. Yukino and Hachiman, like, against each other, like, every single chance that Yukino has, she's just degrading Hachiman on some aspect of his life. I think that's really kind of, she's treating him mean. She's going to be treating him mean, and then eventually she's going to realize that she likes him, and then they're going to fall in love. And personally, I would rather he gets with Yui, but I think by the end of the anime, he's probably with Yukino.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that would make sense just because most animes aren't that simple in the fact that it's just one person. I feel like it's gonna be more of a love triangle type of scenario where Yui kind of gets a little jealous towards the end there just because he's with Yukino, but or Yukino just sees how alone she is, and when she sees that Hachiman's with Yui, and that's when she starts getting more attached to him, and then shit happens down the line, and Hachiman ends a bit with her. But I think another thing I was going to touch on was, or interject on, I guess rather, was I said there wasn't a lot of like fan service or weird rom-comness in it. I forgot to note that for some reason they decided to have. I think this was weird, and I think you might agree with me on this too, Nate. I think it was weird that he was lying on the ground at one point because again the punching just decides to happen again from the T-shirt, and he's lying on the ground as Kawasaki rides on in, or I say ride because Kawasaki ooh bike. No, as Kawasaki walks on in, he says something about black lace, and I'm like, why did he say that? What was
that's
the
what I thought
purpose of
first, too.
this?
A very
what?
unneeded comment.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, what does that mean? And then Lang just goes like, I don't know why you said that. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
what? Why?
Yeah.
I honestly thought at the beginning, I was like, oh, he's thinking that. No, and then I hear that you say you shouldn't have said. I'm like, wait, he actually says that out loud? What the hell's wrong with him? This guy's fucking weird. But
Yeah.
continuing on with the whole Kawasaki thing, though, going into that bar, like, I don't. Again, I know this is a definite like cultural divide, cultural difference type of scenario going on right now in terms of us, and not fully understanding, I guess, how that sort of stuff works over there. But I don't know how they got in because they don't look old enough, I guess. But
That's what I'm saying.
Kawasaki is the only one in this entire show as of right now that's a student that doesn't look like a student. She looks too old to be a student. She actually looks mature,
Manga
especially
Man?
in.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess Manga Man looks like. I thought Manga Man was like a dad or a teacher or something when he was introduced.
I
But
don't know what he is because he like shows up at the school and no one pays him any mind.
I think he is a student at the school. I'm not 100% sure. You'll have to fact check me on it, but he pops up out of nowhere a couple different times. He's not always there.
Gotcha.
Okay, I was about to say he's different, but it is always fun to see Lane in anime form. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
true.
But no,
Alright.
overall, yeah, episode 5 was pretty good, just because we got to see a little bit more about the whole how I guess the relationship is between Hachiman and his sister. Speaking another thing to touch on is I know Nate, you were talking about how the ending there like it really had a little bit more of like an emotional stance to it. I really liked the ending just because it just felt a little bit more real. Like he's rejecting everyone because that's what he thinks that's something he feels everyone else is doing to him, and I just have a feeling somehow that's gonna just turn back around and he's gonna realize in the end, oh shit, like you like she likes me. But yeah, overall, I think if I had to say like how this anime was, it wasn't bad. It wasn't the best rom-com I've seen, but I haven't seen a lot of rom-coms.
Now, before
but...
you go anymore, I wanna get your before we get the final thoughts. Whether you guys give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, or whatever you guys decide. I want to know. As of right now, you have to pick one person to be the love interest. Who do you think ends up with our main character Hachiman?
Aaron, you go first.
I still think it's Yukino. I've thought
think it's
Yukino
Yukino?
since the very beginning,
Okay.
but again, like I said, I've had a back and forth. But I think in the end, it's gonna be Yukino for
Okay,
sure.
so you think in the end it's gonna be Yukino? All right, Nate.
So
What do
are
we
we saying who do we think or who do we want?
Who do we think? You guys can
Who do
do
we
who do you
think?
want as well, but who do you think right now?
Who I think is going to be Yukino.
Okay,
I think in the
Yukino.
end it's going to be Yukino. Who I want is Yui. I
Okay,
think Yui's
Yui.
a way better character.
Okay, Aaron, who do you want?
I think I guess in terms of comedy, it'd be pretty memey if it ends
Sai.
up being like it's like I was about to say Sai for sure, but because he is definitely interesting. But no, I think it'd be very interesting if
teacher.
somehow
you
if
guys are
somehow
forgetting about the
Kawasaki-
teacher. You guys are forgetting about
yeah,
the teacher.
true.
The teacher's
watch it
kind of a
actually.
mommy.
Watch it be the reason she's actually punching him is because like it's like the elementary school thing where you like kick dirt in someone's eye to show that you're interested in someone, or like you like bite someone because you think you're interested in someone. She's just punching him because she likes him. That'd be interesting. But yeah, no, it would be interesting if it was a teacher. But I honestly I think I would be cool if it was Kawasaki though.
I don't
Okay,
like Kawasaki as a character. Not gonna lie.
You'll see more of her, and she does progress, and you'll find more about her.
Gotcha.
But with that, guys, I wanna know what are we giving this? Are we giving it a thumbs up, thumbs down? We want to continue watching. We want to not watch another episode because you hated it so much. Please don't make me regret making you guys watch this, please. I think it's a really good anime, but let's hear it.
I'll let you go on this one, Nathaniel.
Yeah, I was just about to say I'll start on this one.
He's good.
So-
He's the one I'm worried about. He's gonna let me down.
If we're talking about thumbs up, thumbs down, thumb in the middle, I'm gonna say thumb in the middle.
Okay.
Like
that's good. Knowing you, Nate, a thumb in the middle, I'll take it.
basically, there's a lot of good parts in it. I really like the more emotional stuff. I think it's good. Like I like the writing where it's like he's kind of coming out of his shell. Even in these 5 episodes, like he's progressed a lot from the beginning of the show. I think there's a lot of good parts. I think it's pretty funny here and there. There were some very forced jokes, like the teacher punching him, that kind of got a little bit old, but they were still pretty funny. It's just the only reason this isn't a thumbs up is just because of all the fan service.
Okay.
It's like just all the shots of anime thighs, all the weird thing with him and his sister at the very beginning. Like, thankfully it didn't stay weird. It was just like the first scene they were in, the Meg Cafe, just like all that stuff. It just like I almost give it a thumbs down just because of all the fan service stuff. But like I think the good stuff is good enough that it brought my thumbs down to a thumb in the middle.
Okay. That's good.
If I was to give it a number rating, I would probably give it like a 6.
Okay.
So like,
and
it's like
on your scale,
thumb in the middle, it's like thumb at like a 45-degree angle.
Okay. Are we saying like 5 is neutral, or what are we saying is neutral?
I'm saying 5 is neutral.
5 is
like,
neutral, so a little bit
out of
above.
10.
A little bit. Okay. Okay.
A little bit above. It's
That's
not
not
directly in the middle. It's a little bit raised.
Okay. A little bit raised. All right, Aaron. Let's hear it.
I am a little bit different in terms of like I guess how Nathaniel viewed it. I am very open to different kinds of anime besides, of course, the first few episodes I watched of JoJo's. But I
do we have a mutual hate here for JoJo's?
Watch
I think it's just because I wasn't a fan of the first few episodes. I was like, this felt slow. This felt weird.
Okay,
but
I'm
yeah,
glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I will probably end up watching it in the end. Try just to tide over Nathaniel and let him give him a little bit more relief of like, okay, so he's not a complete idiot and actually just watches the rest of it. But no, I think overall,
I got Aiden into it and Aiden loved it. So
I mean, that's not bad. But no, I think overall in terms of this anime, rom-com isn't something I'm against entirely. The fan service was definitely weird, especially the brother and sister fan service. Even though that was my favorite episode, that was not the reason it was my favorite episode. Just to clarify,
sure?
I am not a. Hey, okay.
I mean,
okay.
You have seen High School
Hey.
DxD, so
Yes.
But it's not brother sister shit. Okay, it's a little.
You've seen Sword Art?
Haven't you seen Sword Art?
I was not. I hated season 2, brother.
Oh, okay. You
I
still
hated
watched it.
season 2, and I
still
hated
watched
the
it.
second. I hated season 2 and the second part of season 1 because
There you
Alfheim was stupid.
Okay.
But
It really was.
yeah. But no, I think I'm just glad that fan service in terms of the brother sister thing didn't continue. Part of me is a little bit worried that later down the line we're gonna somehow see that progress, and we're all gonna get thrown for the loop, and love interest goes away from being either Yui and Yukino, and just ends up being the sister, which would be fucking weird. I hope that's not the case, but if either way, I think I would probably give this in terms of a thumb angle. Probably 75% towards raised. I think the fan service, of course, and as Nathaniel said, kind of ruined the 100% for me. But if I were to give it a number, I'd probably be like maybe a 7 or an 8, just because this is definitely something I enjoyed, and I would watch it. I would definitely continue watching if season 2 existed somehow.
Well, it does. It just you gotta find it. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's anime.
Yeah.
But with that, guys, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you guys could leave us a review, a like, a comment on whatever platform you are listening to us via, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, whatever it may be, it really does help us out. We really do want to hear your feedback so we can improve and grow as a podcast. We really do enjoy doing this for you guys. We plan on coming out with better content eventually and a little bit more variety, not the same review podcast every single time. But with that, would you guys like to go watch some more anime with me?
Which one though? JoJo's?
Any anime.
JoJo's?
Any
JoJo's?
anime.
JoJo's.
Oh gosh.
I'm down for JoJo's. Please.
All right. With that, guys, thank you so much for listening.